All right, cool. All right, you guys, happy Tuesday. Happy team call night. Hope you guys are having an awesome start to your month. From what I'm seeing, you guys, a lot of you are killing it already, which is awesome. I did just update the Success Club banner, which I'm sure we'll be talking a lot about tonight with these two ladies who have joined us. But I'm just going to shout out really quickly. I know you guys have probably seen on the team page, but I really want to recognize those of you who have hit Success Club already, because it's not even the 10th of the month, and you guys helped at least 3 people already, so that's amazing. So Success Club 10, Michelle File and Logan Barlow, who is going to be talking with us in a little bit. So congrats, ladies. And at Success Club 5 is Janelle, who we're also going to be talking to, Camille, Robin Lloyd, Crystal Morrison, and Alexandra Violet. And Alexandra is a brand new coach. So congratulations, you guys. That's so awesome. And there are 43 coaches with points on the board. So that's amazing, you guys. That's amazing for 9 days into the month. So you guys should be super proud of yourselves. And if you don't have any points on the board and you haven't helped anybody yet, like, don't get discouraged. Like, that's the last thing you should do. I'm sitting at Success Club 0, you guys, okay? So even as leaders, we have months where we struggle, or it takes us a little bit longer to reach our goals. But the reason I'm still here 8 years later is because I've never looked at any of my months, even if I have struggled and I've hit Success Club at the very last minute, I've never gotten discouraged, and I always just believe in myself. So I'm pretty sure that you're going to hear from Logan and Janelle, and they're going to say the same thing, is that they just never give up belief, and they just keep on pushing. They don't get discouraged. So I'm going to open it right up because I know these ladies have a lot to share, and I really just want to hand it over to them. But I just want to introduce them really quickly. We have Logan Barlow, who has been a coach since July. So that's amazing, right? And you've probably seen her name. She's on our leaderboards all the time. She's up at the top 15. She is, I think you have Success Club 10 already, but she's usually leading the board of our entire team for Success Club, which is crazy. She is a mommy. Has your son stopped crying? He's in his crib right now. She just put him to bed, and she's like, he's screaming, so I hope I can hop on. But he's going to turn 1 May 3rd, so she's a little bit, you know how that is, right? Bittersweet. She's top Success Club earner. She's in our first 15. She earned the Morning Meltdown 100 test group with myself, and Janelle also earned that. We're going through that test group together, which has been lots of fun. So do you want to start, and then I'll introduce Janelle when it's her turn? Are you good, Logan?
Oh, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, we're fine. He just has to cry it out sometimes.
Okay, can you hold up? Because I'm going to mute everybody, and then I'll have you unmute, because I do have a little bit of feedback here. Hold on 1 second. Okay. You can go ahead and unmute yourself now.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, so Amy just kind of wanted us to come on. We talked on a Fitnik Nation call, I don't know, like a month or so ago. So some of this may be a little bit of repeat information, but there have been a few things that I've been thinking about since then, because I have people ask me a good bit, like, what are you doing? How are you hitting Success Club? How are you, growing your business? And I really had to stop and think, because at first I was thinking, I don't feel like I'm doing anything different than just like the vitals. And so, when Michelle first asked us to speak like a month ago, I really kind of had to dig and think, what could it be that maybe is different? So I'm just going to share kind of a little bit about some things that have like kind of come to mind. So one thing I've been thinking about lately is just like the presentation of your Instagram page in general. So if you think about it as like your storefront, so if you walk past a store and you see stuff in the window that doesn't appeal to you, then you're probably just going to keep walking. So when somebody goes to your Instagram page and the first thing they see is, your profile and all your however many pictures it shows at once, like 9 or 12 or something like that. And if it's like a bunch of just like the same type pictures, it may not catch their eye. They may not stop. They may not follow you. So Personally, what I've been doing is I found a filter on Etsy. If you search like for Instagram filters, and I put the same filter on all my pictures so that they all kind of have that same look, and it's eye-catching to people, and it's makes, you know, your Instagram page appealing to people. So that's just one thing that I do. And then, but I think more importantly, even than that is, you know, what do you want people to see? Do you want them to just see like a bunch of sweaty selfies of you and then maybe like a picture of your Shakeology every now and then? You know, I have people tell me sometimes that they feel like they connect with me. Well, I've never met most of these people in person, so the only way that they can connect to me is if they're connecting to the things I'm posting or the things I'm sharing. And so I feel like when you're posting stuff outside of just Beachbody, so just day-to-day life things, or I share a lot about my faith, like whatever's important to you and who you are, like don't be afraid to share that. I really kind of just had to get over the fact that, you know, people might unfollow me if they don't connect with me and they don't see value in what I'm showing, or they don't feel like they can relate to me, then they can unfollow me, and that's fine. It's just like a magazine subscription. When you subscribe to a magazine, you subscribe to it because you like it and you want to see, you know, what's inside of it. And if you don't like it, then you can unsubscribe. It's the same thing with your Instagram page. So don't be afraid to like be you and be vulnerable and share more than just, you know, your workouts or, you know, your Shakeology or Energize. Share your life. And I think that's where people really are kind of drawn in, and they connect with you and they feel like, you know, they know you, and then they start to trust you. And then also I kind of use my Instagram almost as my journal. I have a hard time sometimes vocalizing what I'm feeling, but I've always been good at writing it out. And so I've almost turned my Instagram into that. Obviously not every post, because that would be like a little much, but I mean, a couple posts a week. They may have nothing to do with Beachbody, and it just be what I'm thinking, what I'm feeling. So really just kind of let it be your outlet, and don't be afraid to be vulnerable. And again, that's where people are going to connect to you and relate to you. And then be consistent. So if you're not posting, you're basically like saying your business is closed. So personally, I try to post at least one thing a day, like one post a day, and then obviously like multiple stories. And I think people appreciate when you're being consistent. Like if you're just posting a couple times a week, first of all, they may not, you know, really see your stuff very much. The more they see your stuff, the more they see your name, you know, the more they're going to remember you and say, you know, oh, I like following, you know, so-and-so. She always posts these funny pictures of her kid or her dog or whatever it is. But then they're also going to see your workouts and those things that you're doing as well. So be consistent with posting. I think that is like one of the most important things, is being consistent. And then when you have times like when you're on vacation, or especially over Christmas, I felt like I was really kind of checked out a little bit. And I think that's okay. I think sometimes you have to, not to say you can't still like post something, but you don't have to be as engaged. But all the times when you were so consistent are going to pay off and, you know, allow you to kind of take a little mental break for a couple days or whatever, you know. Let's see what else. Just share. So when I started coaching in July, I just started sharing. I just shared my journey. I was like 7 weeks postpartum. Like I didn't have a transformation yet. I had a transformation in the opposite direction. But I just started sharing, and I just allowed myself to be vulnerable. And yes, I felt sick to my stomach when I posted that first transformation picture. But again, I think that's what people appreciate. They appreciate you being real and genuine, and they want to follow your journey. And a lot of times they want to jump on board and do it with you. So that's another thing too. When I do like a call to action post, or even just in my stories, if I'm inviting, I always try to make it sound like, do you want to join me? Because I think that sounds less salesy. And then it just makes the invitation more like, come do this with me. And like the more the merrier, right? So I think people would click to that more than just, join my boot camp, sign up for my workouts, but join me. So I try to kind of have that mindset a lot. Okay, as far as conversations and invites, I know there's 100 different views on how to go about doing this. I'm just going to tell y'all what I do personally. I'm not saying this is right or wrong or whatever. I personally don't ever just send a random invitation to somebody who I don't know, even if they've liked a post or seen my stories. I'm not going to just message them and say, hey, do you want to join my April boot camp? I don't appreciate when people do that with like other products out there when I've never had a conversation with them before. So I don't do that to other people. But I will connect with them first. So I will send, a random, hey, thanks so much for following along on my health and fitness journey. Like, I really appreciate the love on my posts and the encouragement. Like, I couldn't do this without that. And we couldn't, right? We need people who are supporting us, even if they don't sign up, if they're liking our posts and watching our stories. Like, we all need that kind of behind the scenes encouragement. Or if somebody messaged me, hey, where'd you get your sports bra? Like, I'm not going to immediately flip it to, do you want to join my boot camp? Like, I just answer their question. If the opportunity presents itself, like if they mention, I love, watching you work out with your baby, then maybe I'll say, oh yeah, well, if you ever, have you ever thought about doing something like this? Or if the opportunity presents itself, I will say something. But a lot of times I just answer their question, connect with them, and move on. And people appreciate that. And a lot of times they'll come back around and ask me later, what are you doing? Because people, like, I just don't ever want anybody to feel like I'm being pushy or salesy or whatever. To me, it's all about just making those connections and building those relationships and that trust first. And then, like I said, a lot of times they'll come back around. Again, that's just what I personally do. I know some people do have success with sending, just random invites. Let's see. Okay. And on that, I get no all the time, and I get ghosted all the time. Like, it just happens. That's just part of it. And you just have to remind yourself why you're doing this, especially when you have, a rough week or a rough month. There's been weeks where I feel like I've sent 1 million people information and voice messages and not one of them signs up, but that's just part of it. And it happens to everybody. So don't let it be discouraging to you. If you're hearing no, that means you're doing something right, because you're having conversations and you're connecting with people. And again, I can't tell you how many people have come back around. They'll say no, but just think no means not yet. So just keep, if somebody says no to you and then their picture pops up on your feed, like their picture, keep them, seeing your stuff and your name popping up in their mind, and they may come back around, because they just might not be ready yet, which is fine. With health and fitness, I feel like it's truly something that you cannot sell. They have to be ready and willing and want it. So just move on. If you hear no, keep doing your thing, keep being consistent, keep showing up. And that's really all you can do. And then when you are doing your post, think about who you're talking to, like who are your people. So for me, it's going to be a new mom or a mom with a baby, or maybe even somebody who's pregnant, with their first baby and worried about postpartum fitness, because that's where I was, this time last year. I was about to have a baby at the beginning of May and thinking, crap, well, I'm right in swimsuit season. And, I just about to push out a baby. And so I remember what that feels like. And so that's who I try to speak to, because if you're speaking to everybody, then you're not speaking to anybody, because you can't relate to everybody. And that's okay. Like, that's why we're all different. And that's why it's okay if somebody unfollows you, because maybe y'all just don't connect, and that's okay. So find your people and speak to them. And then those are the people who you need to be adding to your following. So I stopped using Captivate because apparently it, hurts your engagement or whatever. So I've just started manually adding people, but I'm not going to just go to some random page and just click 50 people to follow, I look at their picture, and if it's like a picture of a mom and a baby or a family, those are the people I'm going to follow, because those are the people that I connect with. So, if you're a teacher, maybe, I know there's like a lot of teachers who have teacher Instagram accounts. Go follow some of those people, because you can probably connect with them. Or if you've just gotten married, or if you're about to get married, go follow, brides or people who are in a picture with their significant other, or just anybody whoever you feel like your people are and who you relate to, because those are probably the people who are going to follow you back. So yeah, I've just been manually doing that, adding to my following. And then, like I said, when you're doing your posts, speak to those people. And I still have plenty of people who aren't new moms who, I've signed up, and that's great. But generally speaking, I'm talking to a mom in my posts. Another thing I had to really remind myself is you just have to do what works for you, because there's always going to be, a new training, a new way to track your daily vitals, a new whatever, but you just have to stick and do what works for you, because when you're switching it around so much, first of all, it's going to be hard for you to be consistent. And then second of all, you might get overwhelmed. And so, if pen and paper works for you to keep up with your, follow-ups, then do pen and paper. For me, I'm not organized enough for pen and paper. I use my connection builder. It's $5 a month. I highly recommend it. I keep everybody in there who I need to follow up with. I log in every day, and it just pops up with who I'm supposed to follow up with that day. It's worth the $5 a month by far. But just find your system and do what works for you. Another thing is, I found that when I kind of try to plan out my posts for the week, it helps me to, number one, not be overwhelmed with that, especially, this time of night when you're thinking, oh, I need to post something for the day. And then number two, it lets your post have more quality, because you've kind of thought about it and you're not just throwing something up there. I use this app called Plann, Plann. And number one, it helps me to kind of map out my, my posts for the week. And then it also shows me what my feed's going to be like. So I kind of have an idea of, if I have 5 up close selfies in a row like that, I'm like, okay, that doesn't look good. I need some variety in there. So I don't know if y'all can see this or not, but this is what the app looks like. So it shows me my feed. And then I have a ton of pictures in here that I haven't even posted yet that I just have ready to go. And then, I can move them around and just see how it will look in the feed. And you don't have to spend a lot of time on this. Don't let that be a time suck, but let it rather be something that would help you. And even if you don't have a post written out for the week, at least kind of have a general idea of what you might, want to post. So for me, on Mondays, I usually just do Motivational Monday. I have just something kind of maybe short, sweet, motivational. Might not even invite to my challenge group. It might just be, hey, this is hard, but you can do it. Tuesdays, Transformation Tuesday for me, I try to put a transformation picture of myself up there. I think it speaks volumes when the pictures of yourself, not to say you can't use transformation pictures of other people, but if you have transformation pictures of yourself to share, then definitely do that. Even if you don't feel like it's a big physical transformation, it doesn't always have to be a physical transformation. Think about where you were before you started this and how far you've come, and share that. Wednesdays are busy for us. We have Bible study, so I just usually do something lifestyle or, whatever. Again, that's good. People want to see your life outside of just Beachbody stuff. Thursday, since it's payday and, rank advancement day, I usually do a coaching post. And again, think outside the box for this. It doesn't have to be a picture of you and your computer. Think about what all coaching's done for you. Did it allow you to pay for your groceries this week? Put a picture of your groceries and share about how coaching has allowed you to what am I trying to say? Help out financially with your family and buy groceries, or take a picture of you and your dog on a walk and say, I can work this business from my phone while I'm on a walk with my dog. Just think outside the box. And again, think of who you're speaking to and who your people are. And then through the weekend, I usually just do some lifestyle stuff. Sunday, I might have like a CTA. The transformation post, I always do a CTA as well. So, every day it's not like Beachbody like call to action. I think people just get a little bit like maybe overwhelmed with that, or just, they're going to get tired really of you asking them to join their boot camp. They want to see who you are and what you're like. Let's see. Janelle, are you going to talk about voice messages? Okay. So that's really it. As far as just some things that I was thinking of that might be different. It's really the same stuff. You just have to like maybe dig a little bit deeper. And just really try to be transparent and be vulnerable and just share. Oh, that's another thing. Share on your stories. Like, a lot of times it's me in my kitchen, like talking to Bo, my 11-month-old. Like, it's nothing crazy, but it's how people get to know you. And I say stuff on accident all the time that is ridiculous. Like, one time I accidentally said I was breastfeeding my husband instead of my baby, but like people thought it was hilarious. Like, don't be afraid that you're going to say something dumb. We're human. We're not perfect. And people like to see that. So don't be afraid to share the messy and just who you are. And your stories are a great place to do that.
I love that. Share the messy. It's so true. I was like doing a story one time and my phone fell. How many times you set up your phone and it falls and you like redo it? I didn't redo it. I left it there. I picked it up and like, oh my God, that's how my day is going so far, right?
Exactly.
Right. They like to see that stuff. And no matter how boring you guys think your life is, because I'm home all day. Logan's home all day. Yeah. Like, it's not exciting, but they just like a glimpse into your world, right? Mm-hmm. So, it's important to be consistent though, because Logan can probably tell you this, and Janelle and a lot of us can tell you that so many more people watch your stories than like your posts. Like, it is triple the amount of people that like my posts that watch my stories. So it's really important to be consistent in there and share like your reality show, right? Like Logan said, your Facebook page or your Instagram page is your storefront. Your stories is your reality show. It's how people get to know you. So that is all awesome takeaways. Logan, I really appreciate it. And I forgot to mention that you are a diamond coach. She's actually pushing for 1 star. So not only is she hitting Success Club, but she's growing a team. And what I want to ask you really quickly, I hope it's okay that I ask you a couple questions, is how many conversations do you like start a day? Would you estimate, like, because I really like, and people hear it from me all the time on how many conversations I start or other people start, but I love from them, for everyone to hear from newer coaches, how many conversations you're starting a day, how many invites, that type of thing. Do you have like an estimate that you do each day, or?
So I've been kind of bad about it recently, to be honest, but what my goal is, especially if it's a post, like a transformation post or a CTA, I'll go to whoever likes that picture, whether it was, 20 people or 70 people, and send them a, hey, thanks so much for, the love on my post, or for, commenting on my post, or the encouragement or whatever. I really appreciate it. So it just varies day to day, but, anywhere from 20 to 50 on a good day, when I'm being consistent with it.
Yeah. No, I get it. That's important. And I'm the same way. I'll fall off sometimes, and reaching out to people who are watching your stories, like, that's huge too. And maybe it's the same people all the time, so you don't have to do it every day. Right. And making sure every week you see if there's different people watching your stories, like, to reach out to them, just thank them, encourage, thank them, compliment them, and then just start a conversation. Like Logan said, it doesn't have to be an invite or anything scary. Just, have that basis of connection and find that common, maybe you have something in common, and reach out to them about that.
And a lot of times I think people are scared to like reach out to you first. So sometimes it just opens that door. Even if you just say, hey, thank you so much, they're like, oh, she messaged me, now I'm going to ask her. And not a lot of times I'm not going to say, but sometimes they'll say, so what is it that you're doing? Like, I've loved following you. And it's like, you just had to kind of open that door a little bit for them to open up to you.
Oh yeah, definitely. There's been so many times when I've reached out to someone and they finally reached back out to me and said, what is this business you're doing? And how do you work from home? Right. And it just took you reaching out. So you have to open that door for sure. And then as far as building your team, do you find that you invite people from your challenge groups, or do you invite people like right when they get a challenge pack to join your challenge?
Right when they get a challenge pack to join like the business?
Oh, sorry, to join the business, yes.
Oh, okay. It just depends. If it's somebody who's like super engaged in the challenge group and showing up and commenting on our stuff, then a lot of times I will reach out to them and just say, hey, like, have you ever thought about doing this? Or if I notice, some of my recent coaches have come from people who, you know, obviously I'm following them on Instagram and I see that they're posting stuff about working out. And I'm like, hey, you're already doing the hardest part. Like, this is what holds so many people back, is posting. And you're already doing that. Like, why don't you do this? You can still share your journey, but then you can also make, you know, a little bit of an income doing it too. So it just kind of depends on the person. And a lot of times I will get people interested through my coaching CTAs that I do usually on Thursdays. Or if we have a sneak peek coming up, I'll go into my stories and share about that. A lot of times people might not read, like, you know, a couple paragraph posts, but if you're talking about it on your stories, that's where most of my recent people who have at least been interested in the sneak peek. Not all of them have committed or haven't committed right now, but again, these people might come back around. But it's been from when I go on my story and actually talk about it to them. I don't know if I answered your question.
Oh yeah, no, that's perfect. Okay. Now, do you run your own sneak peeks into coaching?
I don't, but I've thought about it. I've been mostly using Megan's sneak peeks, and then I think Michelle tried to do, I don't know if we're still doing that, where it was like a bunch of different people. But I feel like it's a little overwhelming maybe for people, and especially if they don't see me. So I've thought about trying to do that, or at least that's on my my goals of things, to eventually come up with my own sneak peek. I think it definitely is helpful when they hear your story and see you sharing about it.
But I think even if you're in your coach's sneak peek, as long as you're engaging with them, you're talking to them on social media, and maybe you make a little 2-minute video clip of your story and send it to them. You know, it's okay if you're in your coaches sneak peeks. It's just you have to take advantage of those sneak peeks. And do you find that you've gotten most of your coaches through because they've joined the sneak peeks?
Some of them have been in a sneak peek and have been interested, but kind of like you said, a lot of times I'll add them to the sneak peek so that they can get like some valuable information with like the different incomes and like that sort of thing. Yeah. But again, I'll share kind of my story and engage with them kind of one-on-one. And I think that's usually, if I just add them to the sneak peek, and like sometimes like a couple people maybe have like kind of fallen off the thing and I kind of forgot to like follow back up with them, that usually never comes of anything. It's when I've like taken time to engage one-on-one with them, whether they're in the sneak peek or not in the sneak peek.
Awesome. Yeah, because I have heard from other coaches that if they hop on the phone with them, or they at least offer to hop on the phone with them and just have that one-on-one with them, that they are more likely to join.
Right. And I've been doing that a lot lately, is hopping on the phone. And it just helps you get a better idea of where they're at and what they're wanting to do with this business anyway. Because if it's somebody who's just wanting to like share with their friends and family, you don't want to overwhelm them with like all this information about, you know, Success Club and rank advancement and all this stuff. But if they're wanting to like run with this, then you need to know that so that you can know how to support them in that way. And I think just having a conversation on the phone is so much easier to do that than even voice message. You're just a one-way conversation until they say something back. So
yeah, I think, you know, hearing your excitement is important, because they can, you know, read it in a text and it might not convey itself, but when they hear your tone of voice and how excited you are about it, and they hear your story personally, it really is, you know, the game changer sometimes. So right. Awesome. All right. Well, thank you so much, Logan. We'll probably have some questions at the end too, but
okay. Yeah.
want to get to Janelle. Hello, Janelle.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Let me share a little bit about Janelle. She is married with 2 kids. She lives in Minneapolis. And you said you have been a coach for about a year?
Yeah, about a year in February.
In February, okay. And she also has hit Success Club every month except one. And she's a diamond coach as well, also pushing towards 1-star like Logan, which is awesome. And she too is in the Morning Meltdown 100 test group with us. So she earned that. And what I want you guys to know is that there were categories to get into this test group, and you had to have earned a certain amount of Success Club points or helped a certain amount of people. I don't even like to say Success Club points all the time because it truly is helping people, and it's important to see that. And these ladies crushed it, like seriously crushed it. I think Success Club 50 or higher was the limit, which was insane. So you guys helped so many people to get into that group. So I just want to congratulate you both. It's been awesome being in the group with you. So I'm excited to hear from you and what you have to share. And just to let you guys know, I was really excited to have both these ladies on the call because you can hear so much from a coach who's been at this business for 8 years. And maybe it goes in one ear and out the other because I've been doing this for a while. But when you hear it from someone who's been in this business for a year or less, it really does, I think, help you guys to see that they're in this with you. Right? They're starting right where you're at. So, all right, take it away, Janelle.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for having us. I'm kind of like Logan when we were asked to be part of these calls. I was just thinking, I'm not really doing anything special or different. But what I'll do is share with you guys what's working for me and what I found. So I found it super helpful to set a goal each month. So when I first started coaching, I simply just wanted to pay for my Shakeology. So my goal was Success Club 5. And then once I signed my husband up to get me to Emerald, I wanted to pay for his products too. So I was like, okay, Success Club 10 is bare minimum. And that was kind of what I did. I work full time. So this is like something that I do in my pockets of time. So this is not my full-time job. So I have to find like when I can work the business during my day. So when I first started out, Success Club 10 was something that was totally doable for me in those pockets. But then as my business started to grow, my coach Camille really pushed me. She's like, you need to set higher goals. And it was scary, but I did. So going into this year, I set Success Club 20 as my minimum. And so February, I didn't even know that we were qualifying for the Morning Meltdown 100. And we had a Team Cup team going on. And I normally had the Success Club 20 goal, but I upped it to 30. And I was like, there's no way I'm going to hit Success Club 30. And I hit Success Club 44. And my point with that is February started off so slow. I was like scared to death. I'm like, I don't even know if I'm going to hit Success Club this month. And then it just turned. And that's just to say that this business has so many ebbs and flows. Like you could have a super slow week and get discouraged. And then the next week could be like, okay, you're signing up a bunch of people. So just know that consistency really pays off. And when you just keep doing those vital behaviors every single day, it will pay off and you will hit those Success Club numbers and help people each month. And just try not to get discouraged because like Logan, I get ghosted all the time. I mean, like I could have a bunch of people like my post and I reach out to them and maybe only get a handful of people that even respond back. So it's just really a numbers game. And the more people that you're reaching out to and talking to, the more people it's going to turn into people that are going to sign up for your challenge group or even your team. So yes, share everything on your stories. So record yourself talking, just let people get to know you because when I first started doing stories, I was just simply showing pictures of things. And I feel like it's helped me so much to just come on there and talk about whatever random thing is happening. So I usually come on right away in the morning and I'm making my Energize and I'm just talking about whatever. And I get people that message me and they're like, oh my gosh, I look so forward to you talking in the morning about your day. And it's just like the dumbest stuff. Like honestly, you guys, it's nothing earth shattering at all. But I think it's good because they get to know you as a real person and you're more than just a Beachbody coach. It's more than just health and fitness. They kind of see like okay, who is Janelle Walter and what does she, what's her life like? And that, I think that helps them kind of picture how this could fit for them as well. So I encourage you to talk on your stories as much as you possibly can. That way they get to know your voice, they get to know you and what you're all about. Also, use polls and the slider and questions on your stories to make it interactive, because there's so many more ways to do a call to action than just with a post. So you can do call to actions in your stories. Like, getting people interacting with your stories is super helpful to create engagement. Like, even if you're going to do a recipe, like you could do a recipe in your stories and tell them to screenshot it. That can help your Instagram engagement too, when people screenshot what's on your stories. What else? Oh, so I work from a list every day. So like I mentioned, I do this in pockets of time. I usually do a little bit in the morning while I'm eating my breakfast. I do a little bit at lunch at work, and then I do a little bit in the evening. And those are the times that I work my business. So I have to work from a to-do list. And Megan did an awesome call, kind of like how she sets up her day. And that call was gold for me. It really was a game changer for me in terms of staying organized. And I literally write the same things down. And it's probably the same as the Success Club tracker. I'll be honest, I haven't printed that out, but what I do first is I follow people. So I try to grow my following. So now that I'm not using Captivate anymore, I am doing it manually. So that's the first thing I do in my day, because that's the thing I hate doing the most. And I just want to get it off my plate. So I go out and follow 50 people. Then I look at my post from the day before and see who's liked and commented on it. And I go out and reach out to them. And I kind of send two different messages depending on what the post is. So for example, if it was a call to action post, and if I've talked to them before in the past, I will invite them to my challenge group. If I have not talked to them before, and this is the first time they've ever liked a post, then I basically just send them a thank you for supporting my health and fitness journey. That way I'm not scaring them off. Like, I'm not coming at them with something. It's just simply a thank you without even a question at the end. So those are the two kinds of messages I send, like on a call to action post. So I look at the post from the day before and message those people. Then at lunch, I'll go and follow 50 more. And then one thing I do at night is I will look at who's watching my stories and message people. I try to do like 10 to 15, just thanking them for watching my stories. And then I'll just say, like, have you been following me long? Just something super light to try to get the conversation going. Nothing really about health and fitness or anything. Like, similar to what Logan was saying, just really trying to build the relationship with them without scaring them off, and then hoping that they will eventually join the challenge group. Oh, one other thing too, like for the new coaches, so there's so many people that have told me no in the past that are starting to sign up with me. And they may have told me no multiple times, but I think just showing that you're consistent and showing that you're not going away, don't bother them obviously, but like, they will come around to you is what I'm finding, is that like they've told me no to an invite before, and now they're coming and asking, oh, how do I sign up for your boot camp? So just know that they're still watching you, and no doesn't mean no forever, that they probably more than likely will join you in the future. Another thing is, so set a date for your challenge group to start and fill to that date. I like to create FOMO, so fear of missing out. So like you can create like lists of people in your stories, like April virtual boot camp, and put like 10 numbers and have 7 spots with names in them. And these, you could make it up, like just do it. So it looks like there's people signing up for your challenge group, and put like 3 spots empty and say your name here or something like that. So make it seem like they're going to miss out if they're not going to join. And then, don't so it's hard, but so my challenge group start date was April 8th. And now I'm going to go less heavy on like join my boot camp because I don't want people to think, oh, well, you can just join whenever. So I'm going to set another date for maybe like 2 weeks out and try to fill to that. But I find that because that kind of creates a sense of urgency, if people know that you're filling a boot camp on April 8th, you can kind of light a fire to get them signed up quicker. And then, yeah, I wanted to touch on the process of how I interact with people. So, for example, if I message them and say, hey, thanks for the love on my post last night. Were you interested in my boot camp? And if they say, yeah, I'd love details, then I put it back on them and say, great, are you brand new to health and fitness or have you been at this for a while? Instead of just spilling all the details to them, ask them, like turn it back to them and ask them about their goals. And if they're like, oh yeah, I work out all the time or whatever they say, then you can be like, that's awesome. How's your nutrition? Do you struggle with that at all? So ask the questions to get them to open up to you because that's going to help you in the end. So that's going to help you have all the information that you need to hit their objections before they even come at you with them. So if somebody tells me like they have no motivation or they need accountability, then I really play up the accountability group. Or if they tell me they really struggle with sugar and sweet tooth addiction, then I really play up the Shakeology. So it depends on what they tell me. But so I ask those initial questions, typing. And then when they tell me everything about their goals, I switch it to voice message. So then I say, great, I'm going to send you some voice messages to describe everything. Yeah. And that's when I got a little guest here. That's when I switch it to voice message. And I pretty much have the same script memorized, but I tailor it to them. So I break it down, start out by telling them, like I introduce myself a little bit more to them and tell them about my story and how I got started into doing this and why I love it. And then I break it down. So I first start with telling them about the workouts, then the nutrition, then Shakeology, and then the accountability group. And then I kind of wrap it up and say, let me know when you have a chance to listen to these. Waving. And I don't even get into pricing at that point. So I just say, let me know when you have a chance to listen. We can go from here about any questions you have and any pricing. I can break down pricing for you. And so usually they listen to it and then they say, yeah, how much does it cost? And then that's when I go back into Voice Messenger and break down the challenge pack and tell them, here's what you're going to get. And then I end with how much it's going to be. And then I assume they're going to sign up. So I just say to them, all I need to get you started is your name, email address, and shake flavor, and I'll get you a link tonight. So I assume they're going to sign up and make it sound like they're signing up. And that tends to work for me. So voice messenger, again, I think is the way to go because they can hear your voice. You can say so much more in voice message than you can in typing. Oh, and then the other thing I do, so once I get their email address and information, I offer them the discount coach opportunity. So I say, okay, one more question. Do you want me to sign you up as a regular customer or as a coach for the discount? And then I go on to explain, like as a coach, you get a 25% discount on all your products. There is a $15 per month charge, but even with that, you're still going to net out saving $17 per bag of shakes.
I want to have a treat.
Okay, Daddy will help you. So I always offer that option right away because I find that if they're not signing up as a discount coach, it's really hard for me to get them to sign up as a discount coach after the fact. I feel like the $40 charge, even though they get reimbursed, is like a deal breaker for a lot of people. So that's kind of my process there. Logan kind of hit on this too, but pictures are so important. Just making sure that you've got good lighting and good filters. So I use the Pick Tap Go app, and I have the same preset filter for every photo. So it brightens everything up, makes it look good, and that way you have a consistent look on your Instagram feed. I think that's it. So a couple podcasts that I love. So the Melanie Mitchell Women Inspiring Women podcast is amazing. She gives such great tips every single week, and some are Beachbody related, some are not, but she's just so inspiring. I listen to that every Tuesday, and then the National Wake Up Call on Mondays has top coaches, and they have a lot of great tips and things like that as well.
Awesome. Great stuff. I was sitting here taking notes, and I really want to touch on some of the things that I find really common between you and Logan. And it's clear that you've been successful because you do similar things a little bit differently, but there's a common theme. If you guys listen to both of them, consistency. Like, you've got to be consistent, right? Both these ladies are showing up. Like, that's it. They said there's nothing crazy about what they do. They're showing up to their business every day, you know? So super important. Not just are they being consistent on their Instagram feed or their Facebook feed, they're being consistent in their message box. They're being consistent on their Instagram stories. They're being consistent sharing their story and being authentic. I love what Janelle said about the fact that she assumes that they'll sign up, because that's all about attitude, right? I love that. That's like confidence. And it's so important to have confidence. And if you don't, because I didn't have that confidence that you ladies have in the beginning of this business, I struggled. I always felt like I was kind of shying away from the price in the beginning, and I felt scared to tell people the price. But they're seeing success because they're going into their message box with confidence, because they know the value of what they have to offer, and they're not apologetic about it, right? And the fact that Janelle is telling them how, you know, she needs their email address and whatever Shakeology flavor they want and which package. You know, if I were getting that message, I'd be like, oh my gosh, yeah, I'm ready, right? Sign me up, Janelle. Like, because she exudes that positivity. So you all should be being that same way, even if you're not sending, which I hope that you do. I hope that both of these ladies have encouraged you to do voice messenger, because ever since I've been doing that, I've seen a much higher success rate in challenge groups and coaching. Getting your voice out there and sharing your positivity and your confidence through a voice messenger is so important. So I love that she shared that, because it truly is all about attitude. And if you struggle with confidence, hop on podcasts, hop on, you know, read a book, get a book out, find something about confidence to read, and it will help you so much. And then, you know, it's clear that both of these ladies are building a team. They're both Diamond, Star Diamond. So they're not just helping people in challenge groups, but like Janelle said, she's offering the coaching opportunity to everyone that she's talking to that joins her challenge group. So I love that. That was something else that I struggled with in the beginning. These ladies have already conquered that, and they're not afraid to share the coaching opportunity. So if you're a new coach, like, just think about it, that it's never too soon to talk about why you love coaching or what it's done for you. Like Logan said, even if it just pays off your groceries, share that. Like, share it on your stories. And with your stories, you guys, being consistent doesn't have to be exciting. I watch top coaches, Kate Schultz. Okay, I think Logan's a huge fan of Kate. But she literally just goes on there and she will talk for 10 slides in a row. And it's nothing exciting. She just shares her day and just talks. There's nothing fancy, no graphics, no tons of words on each slide. She just literally is herself and just talks. Okay. She's clearly getting to know her audience, and her tribe is getting to know her, and she's building an incredible team because she's just being herself. She's not worried about being fancy. She's just putting herself out there. And then I think, let me see, we had a couple questions here. Do you all write down a script and use that altered for each customer, or do you just go off the cuff with each voice message? I think, Janelle, were you talking about that?
Yeah, so when I first started using voice messenger, I did write it out because I just needed to kind of have an outline of what I was going to.
My internet just totally bombed out and totally shut down. Do you guys hear me now?
Yep.
Okay, sorry about that, Janelle. It completely just froze, and
Oh no.
but I'm back. Okay, I didn't hear any of that, but were there any other questions off there? Oh, and my whole chat box erased. Do you see any questions there, Janelle?
Do you go live or do you create videos and share later? So for me, it depends, to be honest. So, like when I'm at work, I don't do much with stories just because I can't really be on there doing that. But like in the morning, I'm live when I'm making my Energize, and then I may, snap a picture of my breakfast, record a video in the car or something like that and save it so I can kind of just upload it to my stories throughout the day, because that way I've got something kind of consistently going out there. You don't have to upload your video real time. Like I, shoot video of my kids outside in the yard playing super quick, and then I upload it in my stories later.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, do it on whatever time works for you. If you work during the day, just like Janelle, like if you have to record your stories in the morning and post them after work, you can do that. Like we're not chained to any certain hours. That's the beauty of this business. So, when I'm on vacation, I'll take all these stories, save them to my camera roll, and then just post when I have downtime, when we're not having family time, because we are building a business to go around our lifestyle. So I'm not going to interrupt my family dinner or family time to post to my stories. So as important as it is, obviously go live when you can, like do a live if you have time. But yeah, my stories are hardly ever like real time. I will post them when I have time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Are there any other questions there? Because my chat box.
Oh, are you running ads, or is it strictly all messaging from posts and story viewers? I'm not running any ads personally. It's all just organic.
Mm-hmm. How about you, Logan?
I'm not running any ads.
I love that. That's so awesome. And you guys don't have to, some of us, because we've been coaches for a while, we have income built up, we do pay for ads, but these two coaches have been successful without having to pay anything for ads. So I think that's really important to know, that you can build your business without having to run ads. It's just they're being super consistent. Janelle said she's following 100 people a day, right? She's adding to her following by herself, which is she works full time. So that's amazing. Like that is so awesome. And same thing with Logan. She's adding manually and she's following 50 minimum people a day. If you're doing that consistently, you guys, your following is going to grow. And they're also in their inbox. If you listen to them, they're talking to people every day. It is a numbers game. The more people you talk to, the more people you're going to have join your challenge groups and your team. So it truly is a numbers game. And, let's see. Why did you quit Captivate? Shannon said. Do either of you want to go into that? I could go into it if you don't.
Personally, I found that I was like the engagement on my posts dropped significantly. And then I heard it was from Captivate. So I just quit using it, which I loved Captivate because I could just go out there and load that thing up. And that's one of my least favorite things is growing my following.
I think Instagram can sense when you're using some kind of system.
Mm-hmm.
It's so smart. It's so crazy. I don't get it. But I have an assistant who's very Instagram, like she's very knowledgeable on Instagram. And one of the things she said was she hates Captivate, like the most. Like she loves to either do it herself or use a different system because Captivate was just not working and losing followers, and she was just losing engagement. So how about you, Logan? Did you stop using it for a certain reason or?
The same reason. I just heard it hurt your engagement. And so I loved it. Like Janelle said, because I could load it up, but it also allowed me to go into like my people who maybe a new challenger or somebody like that, and then go to their people and just almost have a little bit more control and have to be a little bit more picky as well, since you can only do like 50 at a time. So I've still gotten pretty good, people following me back from doing it that way, but it definitely was convenient. But yeah, I mean, if it's hurting your engagement and nobody's seeing your stuff, then it's not worth it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. And you can tailor your following so much easier when you're going in and following it yourself. Yes, it's a little more time consuming, but you hear from all these top coaches who have done it on their own and just simply went in to follow 50 to 100 people a day. Whether it's, I think one of them would just, before they go to bed at night, just go in and follow 50 people, and they would just look at the profile picture. Do I feel like I can relate to this person? Do I feel like they could be a part of my tribe? And just follow. Just keep the blinders on and just go. So it could be super successful, but you got to be consistent with it. Yeah. Do you unfollow people who unfollow you or who don't follow you back? Yeah, you don't want to be, you don't want to be following more people that are following you. Like, you definitely don't want to be doing that. So I will go in, like if I go and follow 50 people that day, I go in the next day and unfollow the people who haven't followed me back. Okay, do you guys do the same thing?
I wasn't sure like if we should be using cleaner or not.
Yeah, some coaches do use cleaner, and some people don't, and they just do it manually themselves for the same reason with Captivate. Brian's the one to talk to more about like those certain apps, but I don't know what the right or wrong way is that. What do you do, Logan?
Well, I couldn't figure out how to see who wasn't following me back. So I've done cleaner like twice in the past, probably 30 to 45 days, whereas before I was doing it once a week. And I had to clean out some people because I was following way more than were following me. And so I did it. Like Janelle said, I didn't know if it was what it was going to do, but I couldn't figure out how to see that who wasn't following me. Yeah. How do you do that? Do you write down the people you follow?
No.
Oh, okay, good. I was hoping you weren't going to say that, because I was about to be like, well, I'm probably not going to do that.
It's crazy. My assistant does that part for us. She'll go in and do it manually because she knows who I'm looking for in my tribe. So I'll ask her, she sees, if she goes in the following day and sees if there's like a list of who she's followed and who hasn't followed her back. And I'll let you guys know. I'll post to the team page because I'm not sure. But I know that those unfollow systems, they do it for you. Followers. Melissa says she used the app called Followers, but if I follow too many people, Instagram bans me from following anyone. Yeah. There's pros and cons to all these, follow, unfollow systems. I use an app. Okay, yeah, there's lots of apps out there. So whatever you guys find, again, it's whatever you find that works for you, whether it's doing it manually or finding a system. If it's working for you, that's awesome. That's the question. Is it just follow, or are you commenting and messaging too? I find times to do both. You don't want to, if you're going in to grow your following, you guys, focus on growing your following. Just put the blinders on and follow. Don't spend that time that you're following people on going to comment on their stuff and liking it and engaging on their page. That's another time. That's another part of your Success Club tracker, is where you're going in and you're connecting, right? So one day, if you want to follow, the next day you can go in and engage with the people who followed you back. Okay, just go to their pages, engage with them. Make separate times for that, because they are two separate things. If you go in and you're following people and then all of a sudden you start connecting with them, all your time is going to be wasted and you're going to have followed like 5 people, right? So it's really important to just stay in the zone. Right. Any other questions, you guys? But this has been super helpful. It's just some other things that I wrote down just to touch on again is, setting goals. Janelle said, it's the beginning of the month. You guys have got to set goals. And I love what Janelle said about, pushing your goals forward. If you're hitting Success Club 5 consistently, up your goals, set bigger goals for yourself, and set a goal for Success Club 10. If you don't hit it, it's okay. At least you tried. At least you gave it your all. And if you hit Success Club 8 and not Success Club 10, you hit more than Success Club 5. So you pushed yourself, and that's amazing. So pushing yourself and knowing that there's ebbs and flows to this business, and not getting discouraged if you're sitting at the 15th of the month at 0, or even at the 20th of the month, right? Like just believing that you can do this and telling yourself you can. Call to action. Okay. They mentioned CTA. Some of you might be brand new and be like, what the heck is a CTA? It's a call to action. You guys, you should be sharing on your Instagram, sharing on your stories, sharing on your Facebook. If you don't have a call to action, calling your audience to action, whether it's to join a challenge group, sneak peek into coaching, you're not going to have people to invite or to reach out to or talk to. Okay. So every time that you post a call to action, whether it's a Sunday or a Thursday or a Tuesday, go in the next day. Anyone who has liked, commented, engaged on that post, start a conversation. And to me, it's opening the conversation, and it's opening them to have that invite. Because if they're commenting on your post about coaching, or they're watching your stories about coaching, I always just assume that they'd like to know about coaching, right? It's just, again, it's that positivity and that confidence of, I'm going to invite this person because they're watching my whole stories reel about coaching. I'm going to invite them to my sneak peek. Okay. And then working from a list. We're on the same wavelength, Janelle. I am such a list person. Every day I have to have my list so that I can check off what I'm doing. If I don't have that list, I'm like a squirrel. I'm like, squirrel, squirrel. I'm all over the place. But if I have my list, I know what I'm doing, right? Whether it is a Success Club tracker, which you guys, if you want to have a list to check from, I'm trying to grab mine right now. The Success Club tracker this is an empty one, but I printed out a bunch of them, okay? Use this, use the tracker, stay consistent with it. If you do, these are all the vitals. If you're doing it consistently, you'll have success, and you will grow a team, and you'll grow your challenge groups, okay? You have to be consistent. What else did I write down? Yeah, I mean, consistency, you guys, is the name of the game. You have to be consistent. You have to be sharing. Like, I have a lot of coaches that will come to me and say, Amy, I have a Success Club, or I'm just not growing a team. I can't reach Emerald. And then when I ask how many conversations they've started, or how many people they've reached out to, or how many invites they've sent, they're struggling to find the number. And they haven't sent the messages, and they haven't sent the invites. So you have to be consistent with that. And if you're doing this tracker, you guys, you will be, because it's all here. And it's okay if you don't get one of these things done that day. Go in the next day, and this will keep track. If you look and you haven't checked off follow up, and you'll know the next day you have to follow up. Okay. So awesome. Great stuff, you guys. This is recorded, so I'll post it in the team page, and you guys can always go back and take notes, because there were lots of awesome things shared. I really appreciate Janelle and Logan sharing with us tonight. You guys are doing amazing, and I think that you've really opened our eyes to some things, which I think is amazing. I think it's going to help new coaches and coaches who have been at this business for a while that might feel a little bit stuck right now. So thank you, ladies. I really appreciate it. Thank you guys, all of you, for taking the time to be on our team call tonight, and I will see you soon. Bye. Bye, honey. So cute.